Hello everyone. Welcome back to the lecture on refrigeration and air conditioning. In this video lecture, I shall discuss expansion devices used in refrigeration systems. So the specific objectives of this particular video lecture are to list various types of expansion devices used in refrigeration systems and explain the working principle of these devices. Let me give you a brief introduction. This expansion device is also called metering device or throttling device. It is an important device that divides the refrigerating system into high pressure side and the low pressure side. This is the schematic arrangement of various components of a vapor compression refrigeration system. Compressor, condenser, receiver, expansion valve and evaporator. This expansion valve divides the refrigerating system into high pressure side and low pressure side. It is connected between the receiver, this receiver containing refrigerant at high pressure, and the evaporator, this evaporator containing refrigerant at low pressure. Low tonnage refrigeration systems such as our household refrigerators and air conditioners does not require a receiver because the amount of refrigerants flows through the circuit is minimum. In those household refrigerators and air conditioners, the receiver is not present, hence the expansion valve connects the evaporator and condenser in our refrigerators and air conditioners. First of all, let us know why do we need an expansion device in a refrigerating system. What are its purposes or its functions? The expansion device is introduced in the system or in the refrigeration cycle for the following purpose or the functions. The first function is to reduce the high pressure liquid refrigerant into a low pressure liquid refrigerant before being fed to the evaporator. The second function is it maintains the desired pressure difference between the high and low pressure sides of the system so that the liquid refrigerant vaporizes at the designed pressure in the evaporator. Another important function is to controls the flow of refrigerant according to the load on the evaporator. These are the functions of the expansion device. So the purpose of an expansion device in a refrigerating system is, first of all, reduce the pressure from the receiver pressure to evaporator pressure. In case of our refrigerators and air conditioners, the receiver is absent, so this expansion valve reduce the pressure from condenser pressure to evaporator pressure. Another important function is to regulate the refrigerant flow from the high pressure liquid line into the evaporator at a rate equal to the evaporation rate in the evaporator. Now, the evaporation rate in the evaporator is proportional to the load on the system. If the load is more in the system, then the evaporation rate in the evaporator is more. If the load is less, evaporation rate is less. So, when the refrigerant load on the system increases, the flow rate should be increased. And when the load reduces, the flow rate should be reduced. So, the one of the main purpose of the expansion device is to, of course, reduce the pressure from the condenser pressure to evaporator pressure, which can be achieved easily. But the last task, that is to regulate the flow according to the need, is more difficult, but this is also a function of the expansion device. These expansion devices are called expansion valves and float valves depending upon the applications or usages. If so, how and when to call these expansion devices as expansion valve and float valves? The expansion devices used with tri-expansion evaporators are usually called expansion valves, and when they are used with flooded evaporators are called float valves. So, when the expansion device used with tri-expansion type evaporators, they are called expansion valve. When they are used in flooded evaporators, these expansion devices are called float valves. Then what are tri-expansion evaporator and flooded evaporator? Let me explain it briefly. These evaporators and condensers are basically heat exchangers in which the refrigerant undergoes a phase change. Evaporator is said to be flooded evaporator if the liquid refrigerant covers the entire heat transfer area. This type of evaporator uses a float type of expansion valve. An evaporator is called tri type when a portion of the evaporator is used for superheating the refrigerant vapor after its evaporation. This type of evaporator uses a thermostatic expansion valve. These tri-expansion evaporators are not really tri at all. They simply used relatively little refrigerant as compared to flooded evaporators having the same coil volume. They are usually 1/4 to 1/3 filled with liquid refrigerant. This is the schematic diagram of tri-expansion evaporator. This liquid refrigerant comes from this condenser, or in some cases it is from the receiver. This expansion valve reduces the pressure of the liquid refrigerant and it will flow through this evaporator. While flowing through this evaporator, it takes the heat and gets vaporized. So in this midway of this evaporator, we have liquid vapor mixture. At the end of the evaporator coil, the liquid refrigerant completely vaporized. But while passing through this remaining pipeline, evaporator length, it is superheated. This superheated is achieved by a feedback mechanism using the feeler bulb. The feeler bulb monitor the condition of the refrigerant and send the signal to this expansion valve so that the quantity of the refrigerant is controlled. So in tri-expansion type evaporators, the condition of refrigerant at the exit of the evaporation coil is always superheated condition, superheated vapor condition. So it will increase the life of the compressor. The purpose of superheating the vapor is to increase the life of the compressor. This is a schematic diagram of a flooded evaporator. In flooded evaporator, a constant liquid refrigerant level is always maintained with the help of this floating valve. The liquid refrigerant from the receiver flows through this pipeline where that flows are controlled by this float control valve. Then the liquid refrigerant go to the accumulator and then it goes to the evaporator. In this case, this whole evaporator is fully filled with refrigerant and then vapor is collected here. That vapor is sent to the compressor. A float control valve is used as an expansion device which maintains the constant level in the evaporator. Accumulator is generally used with flooded evaporator. The advantage of flooded evaporator is that the whole surface area of evaporator coil is in contact with the liquid refrigerant under all load conditions. These are used in chemical and food processing industries. Since the medium cooled comes in contact with the evaporator surface in both tri-expansion evaporator and flooded evaporator. Therefore, they are called as direct expansion evaporators. So, when the expansion device used with tri-expansion evaporator, then that expansion device is called as expansion valve. When the expansion device used with flooded evaporator, then that expansion device is called as float valves. In the flooded evaporators, these evaporators always completely filled with refrigerant. However, in tri-expansion type evaporators, it is filled with only 1/3 or 1/4 of the volume of the evaporator with refrigerant. So here the refrigerant requirement is less, here the refrigerant requirement is more. And in tri-expansion type evaporator, the refrigerant leaves the evaporator always in superheated vapor condition. This condition, superheated vapor condition, is achieved with the help of this feeler bulb feedback mechanism. These flooded evaporators always used with an accumulator. In most of the tri-expansion type evaporators, thermostatic expansion valve is used. These are the few basic information about these tri-expansion evaporators and flooded evaporators. Now let's discuss about classification of expansion devices. The expansion devices used in refrigeration system can be divided into two types. The first one is fixed opening type and the second one is variable opening type. The expansion devices such as capillary tube orifice or belongs to fixed opening type, and the expansion devices hand operated expansion valve, automatic or constant pressure expansion valve, thermostatic expansion valve, the float valves. In float valves we have low side float valves and high side float valves, and electronic expansion valves or belongs to variable opening type. In fixed opening type, as the name implies, the flow area remains fixed, while in variable opening type, the flow area changes with changing mass flow rate. So this is the difference between the fixed opening type and variable opening type. Of these 7 types, 2 from fixed opening, 5 from variable opening types, the hand operated expansion valve is not used when an automatic control is required. The orifice type expansion is used only in some special applications. Now let's start our discussion of these expansion devices one by one. The first and most important expansion device is capillary tube. Our household refrigerators and air conditioners uses this capillary tube as expansion devices. A capillary tube is a long, narrow tube of constant diameter. This is the capillary tube. This capillary tube is a long, narrow tube of constant diameter. The word capillary is a wrong or inaccurate name since surface tension is not important in refrigeration application of these capillary tubes. This capillary tube is used as an expansion device in small capacity units such as domestic refrigerators, water coolers, room air conditioners and freezers. It is a copper tube of small internal diameter and varying length depending upon the applications. The inside diameter of the tube used in refrigeration work is generally about 0.5 mm to 2.25 mm, and its length varies from 0.5 meter to 5 meter depending upon the loads. Due to the frictional resistance offered by a small diameter tube, the pressure drops occurs. Since the frictional resistance is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to its diameter, therefore The longer the capillary tube and smaller the diameter, greater is the pressure drop. The diameter and the length of the capillary tube, once selected for a given set of conditions and load, cannot operate efficiently at other conditions. The main disadvantage of this capillary tube is the diameter and the length of the capillary tube, once selected for a given set of conditions and load, it cannot operate efficiently at other conditions. The main advantage of this capillary tube is the cost. The cost of the capillary tube is less than all other forms of expansion devices. These are the important points about the capillary tube. I will continue the remaining expansion devices in another video. Thank you for watching this video. Bye bye now.